Yeah, my question is that we were reading Ishopanishad, is prescribed duties is also binding, where it says action.
Is prescribed duties binding?
Yes.
If
because in Ishopanishad it says action means prescribed duty.
Yes.
So it means you're getting result back.
Yes.
Good or bad.
Yes. So it is binding. But it's binding us in from our understanding in a good way. We don't see the binding aspect, we just see the reaction. I'm doing something good, I'm getting a good reward. It's not binding in the sense that we're getting an instant reaction now. It's binding in the sense that we're not freeing ourselves from the material world. If you do good activity, pious activity, punya, then you go to the heavenly planets. You just change the destination, that's all. There's almost zero suffering, and you're enjoying the good efforts of your work. That's all. But once that is over, what happens to you then? You have to come back here. But hold on, I did prescribed duties. Why am I getting bound? Yes, you did your prescribed duty, but what was your motive? You remember we did that point? What is your motive? The motive was to do those prescribed duties, to get good pious rewards, to go to the heavenly planets, to enjoy there better. But what our karma is teaching, what Krishna is saying in today's verse, there is something that is not binding, creating bondage. It's actually liberating us. And not only that, previous sages have followed this path and they have also achieved that. So how have they achieved freedom from bondage? By hearing about Krishna's Janma and Karma. So yes, prescribed duties can bind us if we motivate it for fruitive results. Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna. Okay. Continuing.
Okay.
But in my understanding, somewhere in Bhagwad Gita it says that unless you do your prescribed duties, you are not purified. You have to do your prescribed duty before you take any renunciation or anything, because prescribed duties are, and it's like it's not an option.
Yes.
You have to do it. But I understand your point that it's a motivation.
See, where in the Bhagavad Gita?
Motivation of consciousness.
Right. Where that's very early in the 3rd chapter. Karma bandhana. How does that go?
In the 3rd chapter it explains.
How's that? Yes. The second line, how does the second line go? Lokayas karma bandhana. Yes, lokayas karma bandhana. That you have to do your prescribed duty, otherwise you'll get bound. That's what you're saying. Right? Exactly right. But is that the conclusion? Does the Bhagavad Gita stop there? No, it's only the 3rd chapter. That's why at the end of all of that, you're doing all these prescribed duties. Krishna then concludes in 5th chapter, Bhokta Jagya Tapasyanam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. You praying to all these demigods. Do you know who is the supreme Bhokta? It's me. And Sarvaloka Maheshwar, I am controlling everything here, all these lokas. But I'm not saying that only comes in the 5th chapter. So the conclusion of karma then if you're saying, hey, if Krishna is the supreme and giving all of this, then why not I just surrender to him? So yes, we have to do our prescribed duties, as Krishna is teaching Arjuna earlier on, because that was Arjuna's argument also. If you don't do these prescribed duties, then you'll get sinful reactions for that, and then there'll be Vana Sankara and all these other different things that will come. But that's still very early. Krishna hasn't even spoken about bhakti yet. That will only start to come in the 7th chapter, properly, strongly, after he's explained karma, gyan and astanga. And then right in the beginning of the 7th chapter, this Maya Sakta Manapartha Yogam Yunjad Madasraya Asamsaya Samagrama Yatagyasnasi Takshanu. Just hear from me, Arjuna. Yes, all those are confusing, complicated, can't get through it, very confusing. Now there's a new path I'm going to tell you. What's this path? Just fix your mind on me. Maya Sakti Manapartha. Just fix your mind on me. And that Arjuna, it's so easy, that's all. Just think about you. Well, if you're going to think about me, it means you're developing a relationship. means then you're going to know about my activities and pastimes, how my birth, my activities. So yes, this is very early in the Gita, and you're absolutely right. Krishna is emphasized there, but it's not the conclusion. The conclusion is still coming. There's still one more chapter emphasizing just this principle of akarma, how to act in Krishna consciousness. Anything else?
When he talks about prescribed duties, he talks about prescribed duties as yajna for Vishnu,
Okay.
and therefore Krishna promises that by following your prescribed duties as a yajna for Krishna, without expecting any result, then you will become liberated. That's in the 3rd chapter.
Right. So
That's not, that's one level.
yes.
But he still promises that but it's not just simply following your prescribed duties. You have to do it as a yajna for Vishnu. It means you have to be thinking of Vishnu.
As the goal.
Yeah.
Yes. Nate vidhi svata kathine Vishnu. The goal is to remember Vishnu. Because even these demigods, if you think about, like Prabhupada is saying, common men in his Upanishad, we read that, common men. But intelligent people would think, well, if these demigods, where are they getting their power from? Where are they getting their abilities to give me what I want? Because like we did last week, they're just, it's a contract. You do that yajna or activity to that demigod, you get your result. It doesn't mean you have to know the demigod, doesn't mean you have to have love and devotion for the demigod. No, it's just a contract. You just serve them according to the Vedic scripture. If you follow that particular activity, you'll get that particular result. So if that is what is your motivation, I just want that result, then as you develop, you'll realize, is there something higher to this? Because I'm getting what I want sometimes. I'm getting what I want, but I'm not satisfied. How does satisfaction come? Then by connecting with something that's eternal, something that's completely spiritual. So what is that? That's connecting with Vishnu. And that Vishnu connection is leading us up to Krishna. So he's speaking here, but he's saying it's multi-level spirituality, like we said. You're doing these different activities. Fine, you don't want to accept me as Krishna right now, but at least follow some type of authority, Vedic authority. And as you're doing that, you come, like in today's verse, Prabhupada is saying, you have to seek out Krishna authorities. Those sages or saints who are following Krishna's authority. Then you can get bhakti from that. So we're still learning about the process. Abhideya. What's that? Yeah. So we're still learning about the process, and we're coming up to that point. Krishna hasn't expressed bhakti yet. He's just introducing it in little dosages, because it's confidential. He has to clarify that it's a topmost thing first, and then express it. Because karma is, like we saw, karma is what I want. That's what are you here in the material world for? You want to play the role of God. You want to enjoy like God. So if you're here for that, then He's not going to disturb you, but He wants you to come to your own senses. Raise your consciousness by coming higher. And as you elevate yourself, then you finally realize, hey, Krishna is Bhokta. Krishna is Maheshwaram. So if He's in charge of orchestrating Sarvakarana Karanam, then I might as well surrender to Him. And if you take the Jnani path, you'll still come to that conclusion. Bahunam Janmana Ante Jnanavam Mam Prabhadyante Vasudev Sarvamiti. You'll still understand this point. So both these big parts are leading to Krishna. Then you say, okay, Jnana comes there, Karma comes there. Now, okay, I understand Krishna is the goal, so how do I develop my relationship with Krishna? Then you start from 7th chapter. Thinking of Krishna, Maya Shakta Manapartha. He's hinting it in 4.9 here, about learning about my activities and my birth. And then if you want to learn more, then it's there in the Bhagavatam. But all this has to be heard from a bhakta. Bhakta sime saka cheti. Bhakta sime saka cheti. So only the devotee can give this, and only a devotee is authorized to give Krishna consciousness like this. Otherwise, he has the relationship with Krishna, so he can be on that platform to speak about Krishna. And if we as students hear from such a person, then this is the result. We give our lives to Krishna like this. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anything else? Okay. Srila Prabhupada.